Hello there, my name is Alaydriem, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock farm tutorial with your favorite cardigan-wearing Minecraft character. And today in this episode, I'm here to show you this creeper gunpowder farm for your Minecraft Bedrock 1.20 world. Yes, that's right, this is a farm that will produce gunpowder, only gunpowder, and we'll do it by exclusively farming creepers in your Minecraft Bedrock 1.20 world. It requires almost no redstone whatsoever, only 2 observers in order to make the entire thing tick. Exclusively produces creepers, so you won't get spiders or skeletons or zombies or any of the other hostile mobs that are in most hostile mob farms, and is powered entirely by a looting 3 Trident killer, meaning that you are guaranteed to have the absolute best rates possible when using this farm. At 6 layers tall, this farm will be producing you just over 10 stacks of gunpowder reliably every single hour. Creepers will spawn in every couple of seconds, fall down the chute that we have here, and then meet their demise at their Trident killer. Of course, you don't need to start this farm with just all 6 layers. You can start this farm with, say, 1 or 2 layers and then keep expanding on it as you grow in order to maximize your efficiency at that top 6 layer level. This farm is incredibly simple to use. All you need to do is stand here, flip this lever, and then let the Trident killer do its work. As long as you're holding a looting 3 sword and you have a Trident up there with, say, impaling 5, which what I would recommend in order to make sure the creepers are dying as quickly as possible, you will be absolutely safe in collecting all their loot. And as you heard right there, this farm also doubles as an experience farm. It's not going to give you a mind-shattering amount of experience, but it will give you enough to repair any of your tools that you have on you while you harvest all of these creepers that are falling down this chute. And once you're done with your AFK session, all you need to do is turn the farm off, then look in these chests and grab your loot. As you can see here, this is from an actual hour, about 10, almost 11 stacks of gunpowder total. As you guys know, I'm always going to be honest with you about what the rates are so that you can ensure you know what to do and what to expect. Trident killer is absolutely dead simple. All it is a trident smacking itself in front of the glass in order to take care of those creepers. So with all that said, how about we go straight into the tutorial? And as always, I will have a full materials list down in the description so you know exactly what you're going to need in order to build this farm exactly as I have built it here in this tutorial video. So to get started, the first thing you want to do is find yourself an ocean biome as we have shown here. If you find yourself one with a couple of these really small islands scattered about, that's completely okay. But you're going to find yourself an area that you like that's going to be clear from any land, and then build yourself up about 24 blocks. That's just going to be high enough that we're going to be away from any of the hostile mob spawns. We can also go ahead at the end of this and clear up that little island to make sure that nothing else spawns. Then we're going to build ourselves a small little platform out here. I recommend going about, say, 7 or 8 blocks total. That'll give us a nice working platform to work with. And then so that we can access it, go ahead and place some ladders all the way up and down that so that you have very easy access to this platform up here. Once you have this platform built out, go ahead and grab yourself 4 chests. We're going to place them here, and then here, and then place those hoppers directly on top of them so that they are feeding into these chests. This is going to be our main collection area for our creepers when they fall. With our hoppers now in position, we're going to place 2 more hoppers in front, and then we're going to swing around to the back and extend out 4 blocks total with glass blocks. It's very important you use glass, and then a 5th layer here as a lip, and then we're going to wrap this entire section around here with glass blocks as I have shown. Next, we're going to place 2 blocks, 1 block above this space. Make sure you leave that gap. It's really important. Place a bucket of water here in the back right corner. It's going to be okay if it overflows. We're going to fix that here in just a second. And then we're going to get 2 pieces of glass, place them at the edge of these hoppers, and then we're going to place 2 more pieces of glass directly on top of them to stop that water from flowing. Come over here to the sides, and we're going to fill this in 1 layer, fill in the corners, fill this in right here, and then we're going to extend in 1 block as shown. We're then going to fill in this corner with a block, and then we're going to extend out from this block right here, place a sticky piston on top of it. It can be a sticky piston or a regular piston. Set 2 observers with the face facing each other so that this piston starts ticking on and off. Fill in that gap, and then we're going to extend down 2 blocks as shown here. Place a sticky piston directly on top so that it can catch this other observer. Grab yourself a lever, place that lever on our piston, and then toggle that on and off in order to turn the farm on and off. Now this would be an okay time for you to throw in your Impaling 5 Trident if you have one on hand. We're just going to do a quick test to make sure that that piston grabs the Trident. And once you verify that that Trident has caught, we're going to start building up our drop chute. You're going to want to build this out of solid blocks, and we're going to want to build up 24 blocks total with this drop chute on all sides. Once you have this up 24 blocks, you're going to want to fill in the corners as I have shown here, and then we're going to extend out 7 blocks on each side. So 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to do the exact same thing on every other side here, and then we're going to fill this entire area in with solid blocks. So at this point, you should have an 18 by 18 platform now built. Come over here to one of the corners, and we're going to wrap this entire thing with a row of solid blocks along the outside edge. And then once you have wrapped the outer edge with blocks, go ahead and place a row of stairs directly on top of it. At this point, you're going to want to build yourself an infinite water source. So build yourself a 5 by 3 little box, fill in both the corners with water so that you can grab water from the middle. And then you're going to want to take your bucket and then waterlog every single one of these stairs. It is really important that you get every single piece of stair waterlogged so that the water flows correctly. If you miss one, just get your bucket and refill that extra stair up. Once this is in place, you want to make sure that you delete this infinite water source first by filling that in with blocks. Then you can get rid of the blocks. And then if you did everything correctly, you should have all of the water flowing through our center drop chute, and none of the water should be flowing over. If you have any water flowing over, this would be just a good time to double check, see where the extra water source is. So at this point, this is what your farm should look like. We're now going to start building our very first platform, which is just something we're going to repeat over and over again. So build up 3 blocks from this edge, 1 block in along the diagonal, and get rid of our temporary blocks. And we're going to carry this line of blocks all the way to the edge. Yes, it's starting in the inside corner and it's extending all the way to the stairs. This is not going to be symmetrical, but if you stick with me just a little bit longer, I promise you'll get a satisfying reveal here in a second. We're going to do the same thing along that edge right there, and then the rest of this is going to follow this edge. So it's really just that one corner that is sitting along the inside of this. Next, we're going to add in a checkerboard pattern, and the easiest way to do this I found is just to bring a line of blocks back and forth as I have shown here. Once you have completed all of these rows, we'll then do the columns, and then you can just bring another line of blocks just like this. We're going to repeat this so that there is a 1 block spacing between every single one of these holes. And then once you have completed your very last row, this should be nice and symmetrical, and you should have a pattern that looks like this that sits directly above our water. So once this is in place, we can then grab ourselves our trapdoors. Trapdoors are going to go in every single one of these holes that we have here. Once all the trapdoors are in place, we're going to grab our stack of buttons and we're going to place a button at each corner of the trapdoor as I have shown here. You want to make sure that you cover every single spot in these corners so that we eliminate any of the other hostile mob spawns aside from creepers. For the time being, I recommend that you leave these trapdoors closed as they are rather than opening them. However, if you're comfortable with doing this while crouching and you potentially have some swiftness boots or leggings, you can certainly open these now if you're comfortable with that. So with our last buttons now in place, you should have a layout that looks exactly like this. So once all of our buttons are in place, the only thing we need left to do to finish this layer is to stack up 3 blocks, and then we're going to repeat this checkerboard pattern exactly directly on top of what you have shown below. Similarly to the layer directly below it, add in our trapdoors. Do the same with all of our buttons here in the corners of the trapdoors. And then finally, we need to do possibly the most important part of this farm, and that is to ensure that only creepers spawn. And to do that, we're going to cover each of these spaces on the ceiling that don't have a button or trapdoor on it with a trapdoor. And yes, we need to cover every single space that we have identified here. So any space above a solid block needs to have a trapdoor on it. And the reason for this is because creepers are not 2 blocks tall. Skeletons, zombies, and other mobs, they have a 2 block height with them. So they can't spawn underneath this because the space that we're restricting here is less than 2 blocks. And similar to how we did the rows first when laying out this checkerboard initially, we are now doing the columns here. So we have an equal checkerboard pattern as shown. With this top layer now completed, we can go down to our first layer and flip all of these trapdoors down, and then we are now done with this layer. With our first 2 layers now completed, this is what your farm should look like. Now all we need to do is simply repeat this pattern another 4 times so that we get the maximum efficiency for this farm. Rebuilding the next 4 layers is exactly the same as we had done previously, so just repeat the exact same thing. And when those additional 4 layers are done, you should now have your farm looking like this. So the only thing we have left to do is to put a roof on it so that we ensure that the farm stays totally pitch black dark and that our mobs can spawn in it even in the daylight. Building to the roof of this farm is incredibly simple. Just build up 3 blocks from here, and then we're going to slap a roof on here. I'm going to use command blocks really quick just to fill this in. With the roof now in place, all you need to do is extend out 12 blocks in every direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then we're just going to repeat that on every single side. And then we just need to fill in this entire area. Again, it's really important that we do this because this will ensure that this entire area sits underneath total darkness. That will ensure that hostile mobs can spawn underneath here, even in broad daylight. If you don't add this roof, you will still get drop rates. It'll just be significantly reduced, and your spawn rates during the daylight will also be severely impaired. Once you have the roof in place, make sure you put slabs on top of each of these blocks. That will ensure that nothing can spawn up here on this roof. And then finally, come down underneath here, and similar to what we did everywhere else on this farm, we need to cover all of these spaces that don't have a block on top of them with a trapdoor that will prevent spawns. You can see right here a skeleton spawn because we did not have this covered over. Once we cover all of these empty blocks with these trapdoors, that will eliminate the ability for skeletons, zombies, and other hostile mobs that are at least 2 blocks tall from spawning underneath here. So with that, your farm is fully completed. It should be up and running, and it should basically start spawning mobs pretty much immediately if it hasn't already. Some of the mobs might already be down there in the Trident Killer. Some might just be working to pathfind. If you haven't already, or you accidentally picked it up, what I recommend you do is throw your tridents in just to make sure that you have everything set up. I also recommend that you throw 2 impaling 5 tridents in, 1 in each corner. Your mob drop rates will eventually equalize, but sometimes having 2 tridents in there will help make sure that the mobs that are in there do get cleaned up. Again, when you are using this, you're going to want to make sure that you have a looting 3 sword on you. The looting 3 enchantment will be applied to your tridents to ensure that you are getting the maximum possible drop rate from any of your mobs that spawn in there. Finally, in order to keep you safe during your AFK sessions, what I recommend you do is just build yourself a small little enclosure around where you're going to be AFKing at, which is going to be right in front of that glass block. The enclosure will ensure that you don't get any hostile mobs spawning up here with this lantern that you have, and will also ensure that you are fully protected from any phantoms that may spawn and try to get you. You can make this as elaborate or as simple as you want. I'm just going to completely wall off the back and the top here. Nothing's going to be able to climb up that ladder and try to hunt me. And that's basically it. All you need to do here right now is make sure the Trident Killer is activated. Sit here in this corner with your looting 3 sword. As you can see, the Trident Killer takes care of the mobs. Your gunpowder falls down in the chest below, and all you have to do is AFK and profit. That's going to be it for me in this episode. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really does help the channel and is really going to help me on my goal to reaching 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Additionally, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please leave them down in the comments. I always love hearing from you, and make sure that you enjoy all the gunpowder that you're going to get. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.